Welcome to Finding Certainty with your host and U.S. Army veteran, Patrick Laing. Over the next hour, you'll learn from Patrick and his expert guests how to attract more certainty into your business and your life. Now, here is your host, Patrick Laing.
Welcome to Finding Certainty. It's our favorite day of the week. Look forward to Friday all week, not just for the weekend, but because we get together and discuss this topic that is so important: how to create and find and develop more certainty in our lives. I'm blessed to have a very special guest with me today, Mr. Tony Gutierrez. Tony, thanks for being on Finding Certainty this morning.
Hi, good morning. Good morning. Patrick, so it's Chisu
Gutierrez.
Yes.
Thank you for correcting me.
No problem.
I should know that. Hablamos español, ¿no?
Hablamos español si quieres, no hay problema.
Well, so today's show is going to be an interesting one because Tony is a very interesting entrepreneur. He's an accomplished entrepreneur in the Inland Empire of Southern California. We're going to talk a little bit about Tony's story and what he's doing to bless the lives of the businesses in his area and beyond. Tony, I appreciate you being on Finding Certainty today. You know, you and I are fairly recent introductions. We're developing a friendship and this professional relationship, and I've got to say I have been impressed again and again and again, not just by you, but by your partner Alexis, your business partner, your team. The list goes on. So, looking forward to having the listeners hear your story today. So I always start out the show by sharing 2 reasons why I've invited this specific guest on. Now, Tony is the founder and CEO of an organization named Mega Mix Expo. They do a business expo twice a year in the Inland Empire. And really the first reason I wanted you to be on, Tony, is you're a great example of someone who is combining your resources, your network, your talent, your experience into a force for good, right? It's business, but it's also about contribution. It's about making income. It's also about making a difference. And that totally resonates with us at Certainty Management and the Certainty Collective. What you're doing, I think, is just a fantastic example of what we exist for, right? What is so important to us and our team. Secondly, I think the way you're doing business is a great example of someone who is constantly looking for ways to get better at what you do. You know, we just yesterday, we were talking about CRMs and marketing and some ways to improve what we do at Certainty Management. You know, we'll talk maybe a little bit about that. But so I love what you're doing to give back to your community and build a business and an organization that is doing exactly that. It's giving back and making a difference. But I also love the fact that you're not satisfied and you're never just sitting on your laurels and waiting for it to happen, right? You're running 100 miles an hour, and for me, it's inspiring. That's how we try to live our lives and build our business, and we love surrounding ourselves by examples like yourself. So hats off, my friend. Really impressed. Now, let's go back in time a little bit, though, and we'd like to get to know who Tony is. Who is Tony Chisu Gutierrez? Where did you grow up? What is your story? What brought you to where you are today?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for bringing me on board. All the words that you say about me, it's humbling. You know, there has been a lot of work involved in what we're creating. And so we'll get into those details afterwards. But who is Tony? Well, if you consider it in a transformational conversation when going through a leadership program, I would first identify myself as a caring, loving, passionate man all day, every day. So that is my life contract. So for those of you guys who understand, that's who I am. number one, where do I come from? So I was born in Mexico City from my father's Chinese and my mother's Mexican. So my Chinese family migrated from the mainland to Mexico City in the 40s. So they went to Mexico and did what all the other Chinese people do is, open up restaurants. So right. in my history, our family started the Chinatown in Mexico City. It's like a block, but
that's cool.
That I know it's actually very interesting, and so that's where I come from. Came here when I was about a year and a half. My mom, didn't work out with my dad, and so she chose to leave and bring me here. So I literally have been here. I'm 52 years old. I literally have been here. What? Yeah,
50, over half a century, Tony. That's
50 years. So okay. I'm very much an American in so many aspects, but just born in Mexico. So that would make me. That wouldn't even make me first generation. That would make me, even though I feel like I'm first generation, but I'm not because I'm not physically born here. My kids are first generation. So very interesting. I'm an immigrant. Aren't we all, right?
Aren't we all? Absolutely. My family's all from Scotland and Wales and Ireland, and England. And there is no such thing as a non-immigrant in the U.S. Every single one of us, even the Native Americans, migrated from over the Bering Strait or whatever the case might be, right?
Right. So with that, I grew up in Los Angeles, in Lincoln Heights, is more like closer to LA. It's LA County. Uh-huh. And pretty much from day one, my mom put me in private school. So I'm a Catholic boy. And then I went to an all boys school. And so I did that. I'm the eldest of 5 kids. So not only was I given the responsibility of, raising my siblings because my mom had to go work, was also being involved, going to a school that was with a lot of discipline and how back in the day, man, used to get hit by the sisters.
Oh yeah,
I got hit all the time.
Those rulers, right?
The rulers, the pads. What do you call it from playing? What do you call it?
Chalkboards, the chalkboard erasers.
I got all of that. So I'm that child that came from the private school world. My mom was very free. She was a hustler. And literally, I could say that I've been working since I was 10 years old. Because
let me make a comment about that, because I think the fact you were raised by a single mom as well, that says volumes, right? Because any single mom out there who's raising children, working a job or maybe even multiple jobs, and trying to fulfill both roles, I mean, they're bionic women, right? I have more respect for single women than just about anybody else in the world, and single moms, and so that's I see in you a lot as I've gotten to know you, this combination of discipline and the hustler. You just referred to your mom as a hustler, right? I think that's interesting that maybe from the Catholic upbringing and the school and the strictness, and then this mom who just was incredible, I'm sure. That's an interesting combination, and it says a lot about who you are.
Well, she pushed me. Let me tell you, she pushed me. She gave me responsibilities at a young age to support her with the kids, and my brothers and sisters would come home. We'd do homework. I was always about independent learner. You guys get to learn this information and do your homework. Everybody sit down, round table, do your work. All that good stuff.
Yeah.
But then it came to a point where, she got me my first car at like 14 and a half, almost 15. Back in the day, you can drive without a license. I mean, so much, no seatbelt, all that stuff.
Right.
Remember, it was so free. Now it's more difficult for these young teenagers. But as soon as I got my car, I went to it was in ninth grade going to I went to Cathedral High School in downtown Los Angeles. It's an all boys school in Chinatown. So it was always interesting. And I was a freshman with the car. It was so cool.
I'm sure that made you popular, right? All your friends wanted to hang out with you.
All the free rides. I'm still collecting on some of my buddies. They've been my life friends. Say, hey, brother, I never charge you for gas. You gotta buy me a beer. Just kidding.
That's funny.
So I started. My mom put me to work at 15 years old in banquets. So literally on the weekends I was working, all that stuff. So I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but how I got there, it was more like the blessings that I was given to get involved into corporate America. Well, anyway, I went to the high school and then I went to UC Irvine, and then I stayed there for 5 years, and then I continued my journey of working. I've always worked. So at the end of the day, when I finished college, I was working, and corporate America knocked on my door, which was Office Depot. So I worked for Office Depot, and they taught me everything I needed to learn about being an independent entrepreneur. And what they did was, you didn't have to come into the office all the time, but they taught you a lot of wonderful things: how to be healthy, taking naps, being responsible, consistency, CRMs, spreadsheets, being involved in the business community, engagement, how to ask questions, probing questions, get involved in the client. I mean, everything that I needed to learn. It was like God was positioning me for where I am today. And the day that I chose to leave the corporate America, I knew that was one of the biggest and more scariest, and I'm sure every entrepreneur out there, when that happens, like your heart,
a lot of trepidation.
Mind,
right.
There's so much emotions going on, and so that's my first portion of my journey.
Well, and you make a really good point, Tony, because I think every entrepreneur has felt that trepidation, those nerves, right? That it's like stepping out into the dark, right? And yet you said something really important. I think many of our listeners can agree with this or resonate with this. And you said you always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I think there's a lot of us out there that, and I'm one of those. Ever since I was a little kid, I grew up with a family business. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I actually made a list the other day of all the things I've done throughout my life that contributed to where I am today. And there's like 70 different jobs or businesses or network marketing experiences. I mean, the whole combination of things that I've been involved in. And I agree with you that God had it in mind for you that you needed this experience. A lot of the time, an entrepreneur, I believe, should go work for someone else first, a big company, a smaller business, a startup, whatever, just for what you're going to learn in the process as you prepare to go be an entrepreneur. Now, there are those who've never had a job, right? They've always been an entrepreneur. They've always had their own business. But I think they make a lot more mistakes than those who learn a few things, learn the ropes a little bit from someone who is really good at what they're doing, right? And this, every job, there's things you learn, there's things you like, there's things you don't like, but you are always gaining knowledge that's going to help you in your path. Would you agree?
Well, let me tell you, at Office Depot, I had the best time. I had just finished university, and then I got into a world that corporate America that I had no idea about. And I wanted to be a suit guy. Okay,
Suit and tie, all right?
suit and tie guy. Okay, and that it's funny because my mom, when I was 10 years old, she goes, "Mijo, what do you want for your birthday?" And I go, I want to go to the studio and take a picture in a suit. I gotta find that picture. Okay. I have a picture that's 10 years old. That was my birthday gift, to be in a picture in a suit. So my mind has been there since those times. And it's so crazy that I go 10-year-old to when I was 25 years old. So 15 years, 15 years later, I get into corporate America. It's all about suits, the suits. Okay.
Yeah.
The suits intrigued me. I was like, what are these guys with suits all days? And so when I got into corporate America and it was the suit time, I just wanted to learn. I wanted to, but I'll tell you guys, if you don't know something, you get to go out there and learn it. I had no idea what PowerPoint presentation was, or presenting. I had no idea about a structure of selling. I had no idea about none of that. But I faked it. Nobody knew anything. So for those of you guys who are my trainers or my peers in Office Depot, just so you know, I didn't know anything. Maybe you guys thought I knew. I knew nothing.
You fake it till you make it, right, Tony?
I just smiled and said, "Oh yeah," and then I go back and the internet's so much Google it nowadays. But no, I don't even know we Googled it. I don't even remember how I did it. But I'm like, shoot, how do I learn about this? And I learned it. I did well with it. And 8 years ago, made a decision to leave corporate America and do me. And that's where my business came to life. I partnered up with my business partner, Alexis Salamanca. And so we created a company called Ofiso Solutions. So I left corporate America and then we started our business. Yeah.
You know, many entrepreneurs have a similar story, and everyone is a little bit different. Mine is similar, but has some nuances to it, right? But I think we all go through that path of figuring out when it's the right time to make the leap, take the leap. I mean, one of my most listened to episodes I've ever had was from a gentleman named Robert Mesh, who's actually a part of our team now, but he talks in his episode about the transition from employee to self-employed, right? And the fears that you go through and the things you need to learn and the things you need to be aware of. And it's been a really popular episode because I think so many people out there are considering it, right? They're in a job they hate and they want to get out, or they've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. They're looking for the right fit, or maybe they've tried and failed, and they're trying again. And it's such an invigorating exercise, right? It is frightening. It's terrifying for a lot of people, but it's so invigorating too. And to your point, you just got to get out and do it. You've got to, whether you start part-time and then eventually go full-time, or you just go cold turkey, you've got to fake it till you make it. You've got to step out into the dark. You learn the things you don't know. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall on your face, but you keep getting up and you keep pressing forward. That is, it's one of the most important lessons for creating certainty and success in your life, right?
I would say that one of the things that I did learn, having that conversation we were talking about CRMs and finding the piece that if you follow through, you meet someone, follow through and close, and that you follow your CRM. So you meet 100 people, you follow up with them, you schedule, you have conversations. What I've realized is when I meet people, it's a no. That's it. I just get over it. I find peace that it's a no. What I do like to do is I like to get to know the person, engage, have a conversation. And if it's really direct into business, okay, so where are you at? What can we do to help? And how can we make this a win-win for yourself? And obviously for us, because we're selling our services. So I've just learned that just finding that peace, and trust me, I get more no's, guys, than I get yeses. And those no's, eventually I turn them. It could be in 6 months, it could be instantly, or it could be years before I turn something. But the conversation I've always have is, it's not a no, okay? It's I don't have enough information, or you caught me in the wrong mindset, wrong time. Let's talk about it and see how this can work. And so that has been my journey of just discovery of understanding the process and just having peace within myself, and then starting to align myself around good, strong people, leaders, people with the right intentions, and started to move those people that are takers versus the givers. So you got to give, you get to give to get. And that actually, guys, that does work.
Well, I think Jesus knew what he was talking about, right?
Yes, sir.
Serve others, and it will come back to you. You talk about the CRM, you talk about follow-up, and how oftentimes it takes a long time for something to happen. Sometimes it's faster, but they say the fortune is in the follow-up. And one of the key pieces in any success story, especially these days, you have to apply it, you have to implement it. But one of the key pieces is the technology that we're using. And I want to talk a little bit about that. Let's come back to that in a minute, because I think you can't do follow-up effectively without a good CRM, without technology. Maybe you can talk a little bit about what you're doing with Ofiso Solutions and with your other company. And I know the focus of today's show is going to be on what you're doing with Megamix Expo, because as I started the whole call out, you're not just making income, you're making a difference. You're building a community, you're giving back to the Inland Empire and the businesses in that area. And I love that. But real quick, explain what Ofiso Solutions does, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Thank you, Patrick. So Ofiso Solutions we created the company, Alexis and I, 8 years ago. And if you Google Ofiso with the U, it's office products in Japanese.
Aha.
So we're an office supply dealer. When we got into this business, I was doing office supplies, and Alexis was doing printing, promotional products, graphic design, and websites, marketing stuff. So we merged our platform. I continued to manage the office product side. And while I'm asking the right questions, stuff like that, hey, do you need printing, in business cards, graphics, your website needs enhancement, whatever, I drive them over to Alexis, and we would just go back and forth. And that's how we had a really good synergy. And he and I have the same drive and what we do to our businesses about supporting them. So he has the same goals as I do, but he was an entrepreneur way before I was. So we've been working it ourselves, for quite some. Patrick, I'm going to tell you one thing: leaving corporate America was not something that I wanted to do. Okay, I loved working for corporate America. I had the best time. Okay, I always got all the awards, I got all the perks, I got everything. So leaving that was like, oh my gosh, the unlimited expenses, working with top one, Fortune 100 companies. I would go in there and just come in and change the way that they operated a company. Sometimes they would have 5, 6, 15 different vendors, and I would just change that and all consolidate that under one. And I'd be that guy that comes in and bring the whole team of people, and boom, things are going to change. So leaving that and doing it for myself with my business partner, that was a huge change. But you know what? I did it because I wanted to do it for myself and for my family. And so I went into that journey. So Ofiso Solutions was doing all of that, working with our community here in the San Gabriel Valley. And just, you know, I was always very involved with the chambers of commerce and other business associations, groups, and just building relationships, Patrick. And what we do is we help businesses streamline their operations through one channel. I'm still doing the same thing too, but now it's our channel, and making sure that we're supporting a business at whatever level is it that they're looking at. So if they're unhappy with one category, then we'll come in and help, you know, and just continue to build up on that. So we're doing the exact same thing. And so 2 years into our business, we celebrated a huge trade show in the city of San Gabriel to celebrate OfficeZilla. Okay. This is January 2020. It was such a it was so much fun. The success was just coming in like crazy. And March of 2020, the world shut down. So
Yes, it did.
With our revenue and all the work that we put in, gone in 3 days. It went from sales to no inventory to low inventory to completely gone inventory to zero sales. So for that year and a half, 2 years that we were going through all that stuff, Alexis and I, you know, we got to rebrand ourselves, reconsider what was the next direction for us. And so that's where the life of Megamix came to life. That new journey that we started. So guys, Megamix came to life, Patrick, was to support our community here in the San Gabriel Valley and to reconnect with the businesses and find out who's still alive. You know, 60% of our business was of our office managers and our contacts, all these businesses were gone. You know, people left their jobs, they got fired, they got laid off, just all heck happened.
Yeah, so many businesses went through the same thing, right? Their entire client base changed, their entire personnel changed, and whether it's because of the pandemic or because of other influences in your business, one of the trademarks of a successful entrepreneur, and you are a great example of this, Tony, is you continue to evolve. You continue to go through this metamorphosis. You know, if you're not growing, you're dying. I don't believe there's any such thing as a status quo in business. We have periods where we're on cruise control, right? It's coasting, it's going well, and we're not having to maybe hustle quite as much. But we're always evolving. And if we're not, we're dying on the vine. Whether it's due to a worldwide pandemic, which is catastrophic, right? And significant adaptation has to take place. But I believe that if you are serious about being successful long term, I mean, 8 years is a big deal. Most businesses go out of business in the first 5 years. You know, I heard a statistic recently that said it's over 90% of small businesses don't make more than $100,000 a year. That's So to be as successful as you are,
that's very, very true.
Yeah, but to be as successful as you guys are and growing the way you are, I attribute a lot of that to your ability to adapt and adjust and continue to transform, right? To evolve. You know, just recently we talked about your new offering, I guess you want to call it, whether it's a partnership or another division, but the core quantum leads. We were talking yesterday about CRM, referring to technology, how you're evolving in that space, right? You've done really well staying in touch with your customers and building up this network and expanding your Megamix reach. But now you're getting even better at it, and you're not just keeping that to yourself, but you're sharing it with other clients as well. I love how you, and I've seen this in many really great entrepreneurs, but I love how you figure something else out, and then you don't just keep it to yourself, but you pass it along. And let's talk a little bit about that when we come back. We are up against our first break. We're visiting with Tony Gutierrez, founder and CEO of Offiso Solutions. He's partnered with Alexis, who I love. He's amazing. They're the owners of Megamix Expo. But we're going to go to break real quick, and when we come back, let's talk a little bit about the technology and how it's affecting your business. And let's get into what Megamix really is and what it's doing, because I think it's a great example of what more of us should do, right? How do we make income and make a difference? So don't go away, guys. We'll be right back.
Follow Voice America at facebook.com/Voice America for juicy updates from your favorite radio shows and podcasts.
Certainty Management can help create more certainty in your life with our deep discount health insurance options, even for 1099s, part-time employees, volunteers, and more. Pay less to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your team. Call 888-684-3122 for a free quote today. That's 888-684-3122. Visit us on the web at CertaintyTeam.com. That's Certainty, TEAM, like Mary.com.
Voice America programs are now available on your favorite connected device, including Amazon, Alexa, and Google Home. Through streams with Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio, listening to your favorite show is as easy as saying the show name followed by the word podcast.
Hey, Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast.
If that doesn't work, try adding on TuneIn or on iHeartRadio or on Apple Podcasts.
If you're a nonprofit in need of funding, we can help. Certainty Management is a cost reduction firm that also helps churches, schools, sports teams, and other nonprofits raise unlimited zero-cost funding. Best of all, you don't have to sell anything or ask for donations. Call 888-684-3122 to learn more today. That's 888-684-3122. Visit us on the web at CertaintyTeam.com. That's Certainty, TEAM, like Mary.com.
Voice America Business Network, the bottom line in business.
You're listening to Finding Certainty with Patrick Laing. Now, back to the show with Patrick.
Welcome back to Finding Certainty. We're visiting with Tony Gutierrez. He corrected me on my English pronunciation of his name at the very first. I appreciate that, Tony, because I love the fact that you are bilingual, that you are doing amazing things within the Hispanic community in California, as well as with all of the rest of us too, right? We're in this together. And it's one of the things I love about your Megamix logo and your backdrop. I know you wish you had your background up right now, and unfortunately in the studio where we're recording this, it's not possible. But if you look up megamixexpo.com and look at Tony's website, it is this just this bright multicolored logo, right? And I think it says a lot. Your logo says volumes about who you are, Tony. You're not just a Hispanic company. You're not an English company. You're not just a California company. You serve your community, and there are ripple effects that come out of that. You know, I'm in Henderson, Nevada. We now have people across the country who are aware of you, who know about some of the things you're doing, who are benefiting from what you do. And I just love that rainbow of colors, right? That I think it's very indicative of who you are and of who your company is. But anyway, we were talking before the break about technology and about how you're continuing to evolve. And not only are you trying to help your own company get better, but you're also passing along those technologies and those benefits and that those tools to the rest of us, you know, companies like us. Is that just kind of by default? Has it just come about, or was it part of your plan from the beginning? Do you feel like it's something that you brought as a child and into your work, or has it just Is it just kind of been a surprise to you, or maybe just what would you say?
It's very interesting. I don't know. I would say this past year, 2 years, well, maybe about a year, a lot of people have been sharing a lot about how I show up to them. Okay. And it's just me being me, right? I'm a big giver, always helping people. And if there's an area that I can help, other people, I'll bring it up. So if I go and I'm using something, just like, like anything, guys, you guys watch a good movie, you're going to share it, right? So that's how I look at it. And I was like, look, we're using this platform. We were doing a lot of things very old school, which I'm still, old school. Put it into your system, contacts, put it into a spreadsheet, put it into a calendar, and then you just follow your day. But then what happens is if you have 15, 20,000 contacts, how you're going to lose people? It's not possible.
No, it's not possible.
It's not possible, but you try, right? You're trying it because as a small business owner, you don't have, $2,000 a month to be throwing out. You're managing yourself, and you work with the hot leads, and and you just follow through.
Yeah.
And a lot of businesses are just doing it the same way that, even though technology is out there, a lot of people are still very old school. So fast forward to us using this new platform, I just feel like, it's like I have to share it, because I look at it like this. Megamix is one area. We're growing it. We're getting way more exposure. Branding is happening, not just on a local scale. Now it's more national scale, because we do very strong press releases that gets the word out there. For those investors out there, we're still looking for some strong investors so we can become a national entity where Megamix is in every state in the United States. And creating the same platform that we're doing here, it's all about local business. Okay, we have our national entities, but LA County, Orange County, Inland Empire, we want to make sure that businesses are thriving by connecting together. Now, at the end of the day, you can meet so many people, but like you said, what's the follow-up? How are you managing that? A lot of people don't know how to do that. So I just feel like it's like a gift that I get to share and make sure that people understand that, hey, life could be better if you consider it this way. And so me sharing this with you, Patrick, I just felt like I had to share this with you. And if it works for you, fantastic. I'm very happy. If you take baby steps, fantastic. Right now, we're just working with a company called Billboards Inc. Okay, and they now need to scale their business up, because now they're in a position where they need more automations. The CRM, the follow up. When I mean automation, guys, is you put them in the system, and for those of you guys who have seen it, you get a follow up email, schedule a calendar, all that stuff. So just imagine you're meeting 1,000 people. You can't make 1,000 calls in a week. It's not possible. No. So we get to figure things out in creating those automations. And now we're going to start doing some video to say, hey, Patrick, wonderful to meet you. I had a great time getting to know you. I'm doing this video so I can schedule a time to meet with you, see what we can do together, see how we can help you. Please click on the link below so we can, schedule a time.
Right.
Preferably online, because you can do more meetings online, which I love now, guys. I mean, pandemic was, it affected a lot of business, but also it enhanced a lot of business because a lot of people are working from home. And yeah, I've been working from home, guys.
I would agree with you, Tony. I don't like doing face-to-face meetings if I can help it, because it costs me an hour before to get there, an hour to the meeting, an hour to get back. I do a face-to-face meeting with a customer very rarely these days, because again, technology is making it possible to do business faster, better, and more efficiently, right? I mean, you look at what's coming in with conversational AI and some of the AI developments and Chat GPT and so forth and so on. Some people are afraid of it. They think it's, they've seen too many alien movies, right, or something. But I think it's amazing. I mean,
I do too.
Us to get done more quickly and more efficiently. I mean, ultimately, our goal is to have a balanced life, right? To not just live to work, but work to live. And these technologies, even virtual assistants and other things like that, are making it possible to do exactly that.
Well, we are living with the movies. Remember the Jetsons?
Yeah.
That's a very interesting, whoever these creators are, or we're living those lives. So very soon you'll be seeing, in a few years, you're definitely going to be seeing a lot of cars flying in the air or something.
I believe so.
That's definitely going to happen. So
let me make a comment, if I may, Tony, because I do want to make a shout out to you about your expo. We came as a major sponsor, of your expo just a couple of months ago in Ontario, California, at the convention center. And I've been to a lot of expos in my career, right? And participated in, attended several of them, but I believe your Mega Mix was one of the best run and best organized expos we've ever been to. And obviously, I think it all starts at the top and trickles down. It begins with you and Alexis and your team, but it was fantastic. I mean, we were really impressed with the attendees, how engaged they were. I mean, we met people like the folks from Entrepreneur High School. It was this extraordinary high school. All these young kids are excited about being entrepreneurs, and they have a bakery and they have a print shop, and they had the best food there, hands down. But I just want to give you a compliment there, because I thought your show was your expo was fantastic. I know you have your next one coming up in San Gabriel. Maybe you can talk a little bit about the next one, when it is and where it is, so our listeners can, if they're in the area, they can take part.
Well, absolutely. So, and I appreciate what you just said, Patrick. It looks good in the front end, but in the back end, there's
chaos,
work.
Right? It's like chicken with your head cut off running, right? We were just talking just yesterday about how most people, I was talking with another friend of mine who's the CEO of a company. I said, most people have no concept of how much work is going on behind the scenes, right? The meetings, the worries, the expenses, the planning, the forecasting. And so having a plan, having examples like yours to follow, having the technology to help, it's all really important. But you were going to say something. Go ahead.
Well, it's a team effort. It's never about me. One of the blessings that I have is enrollment and engagement, and I think that pandemic really showcased that in me, where I understood, okay, that there's an area that I have strength in, and it's about bringing people together and looking at things very differently. Because you and I have been go to expos all day long, and I can make our expos free. Why not? I can have 10,000, 30,000 people come, thousands of people, because it's free. But I looked at it from a small business owner perspective, and we created a platform, an event that invited people that want to engage. That's it.
They're serious.
And it's not about giving free stuff. So I tell my exhibitors, please try not to give anything for free. Why don't you create an experience, give a raffle prize, do something where people come by and they know they're not here to get free. They're here to have conversations, because conversations is the start of building a relationship with someone. And I tell the exhibitors, please don't come expecting a client. Expect a relationship that will build into a client, that will build into a network outside of what you could have ever created. So if everybody has the same intention and the same mindset of connecting with people, social media is one thing, guys. We could do all that all day, every day. But when it comes down to building your business, at the end of the day, it's still relationships, no matter what. Now, the beautiful words that you said about your experience and everything about the Megamix, we're always striving to make it different, add new components to it. Businesses are going to come, businesses are going to go, but to really support and engage those people that need the support. And if they don't need the support, they can still just come as, as participants, or get a booth and own it and get to have that experience. We do workshops. We'll do some live entertainment. You get to showcase your business if you want to, either on stage, or we'll walk around and introduce you. Every exhibitor that comes on our platform, we give them 2 vouchers to a leadership program. Okay. I think that's so powerful. We have, in the past 2-3 years now that we've been doing this, we have transformed hundreds of lives through the Megamix Expo. Now, you're asking, how does this energy and everybody at the expo? Because their lives have been transformed. So when they come to our expo, they're coming with energy. They're coming with, with love. They're coming from a place of just peace,
Passion.
and passion.
They're excited. I saw that firsthand.
You saw that, right? I see it too. And then they told me, Tony, because of you, this happened to me. Because of you, this happened to me. And I don't even know them. And I'm like, my heart is so warm with that. And just like paying it forward, I just feel that that's what we get to do. And like I shared with you, you give to get, and transformation is happening every single day, not just to them, but transformation happens through me. So I'm transforming every single day to be a better man and be a better leader and be a better engager here in the communities, not just here as we continue to grow, to get the right people involved. For those people who are watching, if you want to be a part of our platform, grow with us, build with us, talk to us about how we can help you. What Patrick is doing here is the same thing too, giving, because we know that our fortunes will come from all the transformation that are happening out there. So that's 100%. My mission about what we're doing. And transformation is about you individually. Your business will grow when you make that decision.
Well, it's such an important principle, Tony. So many entrepreneurs, I think, haven't quite grasped that yet. They haven't figured out how important it is to look outward, to pay it forward, to look for ways to serve and to give back. And they think, I can't afford to yet. I'm too busy. I don't have enough money. I'll give when I'm successful. I'll give once I've arrived. I believe it's backwards, right? And from the beginning, even as a young boy, and watching your mom and helping your siblings and all these things that you did from a very young age, I think you were probably learning it from your mother and modeling it, maybe learning it from others. But you've been giving and giving and giving, and I think that it comes full circle. I mean, whether you call it karma or the law of attraction or reciprocity or whatever, however you want to label it, the principle is the same. If you can understand that as a business owner and put your people first, put your vendors first, put your community first, it's not that you're forgetting about yourself and that you're letting yourself be a doormat or anything like that. It's just you're putting your priorities straight. I mean, it was Christ who said, love God first and love your neighbor second, right? And in fact, I just did a monologue earlier this month on joy, and a friend of mine pointed out that the acronym for joy is Jesus, others, then you. You're last, right? And if you understand that, everything works out. It will come back to you full circle, and it'll change not just your life, but many other lives in the process. And it's just so much more fulfilling. We are approaching the end of the show, and I just want to ask you, as you look back over your career, what is a lesson that you've learned, Tony, that you think has created more certainty in your life and the lives of your customers? Is there a lesson that stands out other than what we've talked about? Is there anything that you would share with the listening audience that's been impactful for you?
Man, you got okay.
Put you on the spot there.
I'll put you in the spot. Lesson learned. I don't know. Every day we in this life, in this transformational of life lessons is learning to let go and working on whatever is burdening you, whatever life experiences you've gone through, things that have happened in your life, to move forward and find peace about letting that go. Because it's so interesting that you hear all these stories of businesses that have scaled, and it could have just been something very simple in their personal life. That it was an aha moment, and just you had an aha moment. You're like, okay, now I'm at peace. Now I can do everything that I want to do, and just being present with yourself and your life, and working hard to be better always. We're not perfect, neither am I. I have my moments in life, and I get to gift to being in front of hundreds of people all the time. And at the expo, a lot of people hit me up, and I get overwhelmed. But then it's interesting, people are watching me, and Tony, you handle that very, very well. And when I start my day or when I'm doing things like that, I just find that peace of, okay, be present, be present in someone's life, and just be there. And whatever that looks like. However, if the conversation turns out to be like 10, 15 minutes, then that's where you move into your CRM calendar. And it's like, can we schedule a time to meet and continue this conversation? Because guess what? I would love to get to know you. So Patrick, you and I, this is a funny conversation, leeway. You and I have been wanting to do this for a few months.
We have. We're busy.
So, but we completed it. We completed it, and we're here now. And that's, that's how we had a great conversation then. I told you, invite me. I would love to be a part of your platform, share what we're doing. And so, thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, you're welcome. I think just to summarize, and we are up against our time block here, but to summarize, I think you hit very important. You share a very important insight about looking to the future, right? Don't hold on to the past. Let go of hurts and mistakes, failures. We talk about how we're all failing and making mistakes and learning and growing, but the key is to fail forward, right? Don't fall backward. Even if you take 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, continue to move forward. Continue to look forward. Continue to try to improve. Surround yourselves by people who lift you up. Tony, you're a great example of somebody who lifts us up, right? You're lifting the community up by helping all of us look forward to a brighter future. You do that with your business. You do that in your personal life with your kids. You're just a great example to me of that. And I think it's a key to finding certainty in our lives is being able to do that. So
Patrick, let me close out real quick, because I forgot. You asked me that question and I forgot to get into it.
Okay, we got 30 seconds. So
30 seconds. San Gabriel Valley Megamix Expo is taking place in LA County. If you're looking to expand in this area, we invite you. Just visit megamixexpo.com. My information's there, or my team. Please let us know what we could do to help. And again, it's about creating revenue here in San Gabriel Valley and LA County. So if you're interested, Tony Gutierrez. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn. Hit me up. If you need to get a hold of me through Patrick will guide us.
We can absolutely help you do that. Guys, certainty is out there. It's available. It's out there to find. We can help. Tony and his team can help. Go to megamixexpo.com. Visit us at certaintyteam.com. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next week here on Finding Certainty.
Thanks for tuning into today's episode of Finding Certainty. We hope you've gained some more insight into how to create more certainty in your own business or nonprofit. Join us next week for another taste of the Certainty Experience. Until then, we wish you greater certainty in all that you do.